Hello, Steve Arts 89. Well, apparently the Orville is back. Now, it's been rumoured for a while, but a lot of it was just really wishful thinking and people trying to, imagine it will come, say it's coming, it will come, just, build it and, they will come, that sort of mentality. But supposedly there are rumours that it is happening now with Hulu. Things have changed somewhere. And some of the issues that they had with doing a fourth season seem to be resolved. One of the issues was the availability of Seth MacFarlane, and he wanted to really hold on to the show because he wrote all the other episodes. He basically controlled it. He didn't want to let it go and give it to anyone else, but he didn't have the availability. He couldn't focus on it full time. So they had this sort of conflict where the other actors were not happy with the fact they were doing a show every 2 or 3 years. And they couldn't really work in between because they had exclusive contracts, which unless you have a holding contract where they pay you the whole time, it's really not really good for you. So the actors have sort of gone their own ways. They've torn down the sets apparently, so if they were going to start another season they'd have to build it all again or something. So there are a lot of issues with doing a full season, and I did not think it was going to happen. I'm not sure this is going to happen, but it's being reported as going to happen. Supposedly they've greenlit season 4 and 5, and they're not. So the word is it's greenlit, it's happening, but they just haven't announced it yet. They're not going to announce it until they start filming, which is going to be soon, because it's going to take them a year to get it on the screen. So 6 months of production, 6 months of pre-production, and then it should be out sometime early 2026. And they're supposedly going to follow season 4 pretty close with season 5, and the idea is to have a show out every 12 to 16 months, 18 months. So yeah, apparently Seth MacFarlane is allowing someone else to come in and write, so it's not just him. And also, it wasn't just his availability, also the thinking was he didn't quite have the talent to do it, and that's why there were issues with the third season, and they need to bring other people in, just in general, but also just because he doesn't have the time to write every script. And then the issue is, will he be in the show? And the suggestion at first was they were going to bring back the other actor, his ex-wife, I've forgotten her name, I've forgotten the actress's real name, I meant to write it down, damn, I can't remember it, but there was talk she wasn't going to come back, and the idea was they were going to have her originally come back and she was going to captain the ship, and he was just going to be an admiral who'd pop up a couple of times in the season to get around him not being there. But apparently he's going to be there now, and the talk is they're going to basically just have him step back like Picard and let other people take on the missions. And I'm like, why would he suddenly do that? Why would he? It doesn't make a lot of sense. But these at this point are just rumours, and it's coming from people who, talk about a lot of rumours that, there's sort of the similar camp who always talk about Kathleen Kennedy slowly retiring every year. She seems to be retiring but never does. Kurtzman being gone but he's still there. The sort of people who do seem to be, they're not the chuds. They're not like working on that pop culture wars extreme sort of level, MAGA level, but they do seem to be using the same sort of stories and the same bait for the same people. So I really don't know if this is happening or not, but supposedly it's happening. I don't know, I loved the first season, I loved the second season, and then I realised they were just copying Next Gen, and they were never going to come out of that. They were never going to grow out of that. It always just was going to be just a pale imitation of Next Gen. Even at its best, it was a pale imitation of Next Gen. When it tried to do its own thing, it sort of was its own thing, but that was very comedy, and I didn't really like it. So it really had this identity issue. I don't think it ever really found itself, because when it was good, it was knocking off Next Gen. When it was itself, it wasn't that good. So I don't know how they're going to deal with that in the future, and with the rest of the season 4 and season 5, how they're going to deal with that. And I thought the third season ended horribly with the romance between the Doctor and the robot, and him doing a striptease, and just, you couldn't take it seriously. It totally, whatever Next Gen levels it reached, it totally undermined itself with its Orville-ness. So I had problems with the third season, and I have not been very supportive or complimentary of it since, particularly of that season. Could they change all that in a fourth season? Could someone new coming in save it? Could they elevate it and make it its own thing on a level of Next Gen without it just reverting back to its parody sort of Star Trek version of itself? I don't know. Does anybody care? As long as they make it and people watch it. I mean, I think it had a decent audience. They've talked about bringing down the budget by maybe a third or something. So that's the other issue. They had to make the show for less money. Will that show? One of the elements that it had was it had a great aesthetic and it had great production value, and that in a lot of ways was the only really good thing it had going for it when the scripts weren't working, or the characterization, or the style of the show wasn't working. At least they had the visuals. If they don't have that now because of production, the actual budget being lowered, could they compensate with writing like the original Star Trek? I don't know. But rumour is it's being greenlit, they're doing 2 seasons, and it's going to happen, but still no evidence of this. And this has been said before, but it sounded more optimistic and speculation. This sounds more like it's happening, but we'll see if it ever actually shows up on the screen. I'm going to go. Feel free to share, like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you think of, is there actually going to be an Orville season 4 and 5?